Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Cosmic, and we got the patch details for the upcoming Knull and Carnage uniform. So let's get into details of this patch notes real quick. So Knull got a tier 4 and a uniform, and Carnage got a new uniform. Alright, let's get into these uniforms real quick. Knull is getting the Ancient History, which is basically the Silver Black when he traveled back in the past and he met Knull over there. So this is Knull Ancient History. He's super villain universal, obviously. His cost is going to be 1,625 crystals, which is a 50% discount. Luckily, I'm not going to be spending those crystals because I have the ticket, the uniform ticket, so I think we can buy a uniform with the uniform tickets. I'm not going to be spending that much crystals on this uniform. And let's get into it. So, uniform effect, he gives himself guaranteed crit rate by 25%, super armor, all basic defenses increased by 50%. Tier 2 passive is actually the same, except that they increased the chain hit damage by 5%. Before it was just 20%, now it's 25%. And decreases basic damage received by 40%. And he maintains the pierce damage by 5%. He still maintains the debuff removal, but it only applies to himself. And his 4-star passive still maintains the immortality, which is a shame because I would love that immortality to be applied to all symbiotes, but it is what it is. He still maintains the immortality. Now, first skill is just physical damage, nothing interesting about it. Second skill is his bread and butter for PvP. It has Eye from Ignore. It decreases recovery rate, and it applies paralysis. It has paralysis effect on it. Now, to himself, it gives him 40% recovery of his max HP, 100% chance to penetrate everything, super armor, barrier, shield, all damage, immune, invincible effect. It gives him 4-second invincibility, it gives him 4-second debuff removal, and it gives him the excluding bosses ignore enemies damage decrease by 20%, which is the Sentry effects, the Adam Warlock effects, the Spider-Man effects when they're just ignoring the damage decrease by set percentage. Yeah, he's gonna be ignoring the damage decrease from opponents by 20%, which is absolutely insane. Third skill has Fracture and Silence, and all damage immunity for 5 seconds. Fourth skill has Snare and Paralysis, and gives him accumulation by 1%. And the fifth skill has a V-pad skill. Alright, it's a V-pad skill, and it gives him immunity to all debuff. Alright, immunity to all debuff. Decrease all basic defenses by 50%, like a defense down. And it gives him increase all attacks by 60% and crit rate by 45%. Which is insane. It's absolutely insane, dude. Literally. Yeah, Knull is just straight up PvP and PvE at the same time, which is literally overpowered. So it's the same thing with Sentry. Okay, Knull is literally the same thing with Sentry in a way. Carnage, he gains the superior Carnage uniform, and his uniform is gonna be at 875 crystals, which is a 50% discount. And he still maintains the combat type, and he's a super villain. Now, the uniform effect gives him 40% HP increase, 30% increase to critical damage by 100%. Alright, 30% chance to increase critical damage by 100%. The tier 3 skill I think is just the same. It's still the same. I don't know what they changed. Maybe they changed like the animation probably, but I think it's still the same. Leadership is still the same and applies to symbiote allies. Remove all debuffs for 12 seconds. And increases all of their defenses by 30%. Okay. Tier 2 passive gives him guard break immunity, decrease basic damage received by 40%, and skill damage and bonus damage increased by 45 and 40% respectively. 4-star passive gives him critical damage increased by 35 and guaranteed crit rate by 30% and immunity to bleed. First skill, nothing impressive about it, just some bleed damage. Second skill, bleed damage and decreased recovery rate as well, like the first skill. And he has paralysis on his second skill. Third skill, he recovers 20% of his max HP. He has immunity to all damage for 5 seconds. He has accumulation by 15% based on damage received, and he has fracture on his skill, which is good for ABL, but I don't think anybody's going to be using him for ABL, to be honest. Fourth skill, he has panic. By the way, guys, panic is very overpowered. Panic can be applied to, I think, to the boss characters. I think it can apply to boss characters or even enemies in a whole. And I think the panic ignores all debuff immunity. I'm gonna put it on the screen just so you guys can see. But panic is a really powerful effect. It increases the basic damage dealt to enemies by 30%. Okay. Alright, like the enemies will receive 30% more damage when the panic effect is applied, which is absolutely insane. Alright. He has barrier for 10 times, so like 10 hits. He has frenzy buff, 65% all attack, all defense increase, and 45% crit rate. And the fifth skill has iframe ignore, guys, which is similar to Wolverine's fifth skill. His fifth skill has iframe ignore. It also has panic. It has incapacitation that removes active buff from targets. It has burn, and it gives him 30% recovery max HP, 90% chance to penetrate everything, super armor, all damage immune, invincible effects. Oh, barrier, barrier and shield, he cannot penetrate those. He cannot penetrate barrier and shield, unfortunately. It gives him 5-second invincibility and increases his basic damage by 100% for one attack. Alright, now Knull is getting in tier 4. His tier 4 is very interesting. So, when striker skill is used, it applies to enemies and remove active buff from targets. That includes all debuffs. Honestly, this remove active buff. They should have put it on his second skill, for example. I don't think he has it on his second skill. No, he does not. They should have placed that on his second skill. They should have taken the active buff from his tier 4 skill and placed it on his second skill. That would make much more sense, in my opinion, because his second skill has iframe ignore. Now, it removes active buff from targets, includes all debuffs. It gives him 20% recovery of his max HP for 1 second, 80% all attack for 7 seconds, and physical damage by 1000% of physical attack. So his tier 4 skill deals damage, and an additional 1334 physical damage. Now, I know it says like 1 second, but I think it's a ongoing heal. Like every second he's just recovering 20% of his max HP, 20% of his max HP, 20% up until 7 seconds. So for like 7 seconds he will be recovering 20% of his max HP. I don't know why Vodafone is calling me at this moment. What happened? Okay. Yeah. For 7 seconds, he will be recovering his max HP by 20%, which is 140% of his HP, which is insane. It's literally insane. This is literally similar to Moon Knight in a way. Alright? For the artifact, we have Absolute Evil Knull. His artifact, it's basically the same as Black Swan and Kang and Doctor Doom and Thanos in a way. Increase basic damage dealt to superhero and supervillain by 20%. And an additional 0.5 of total instinct up to 200%. So yeah, his artifact is going to be dealing damage to superheroes and supervillains alike. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't think they've mentioned it around here, but I'm pretty sure that his artifacts are going to be available in the in the War Boss. Okay, you can acquire it from the War Boss Knull. Now, we have other improvements and changes. The skill restriction in the zombie survival has improved. The number of skills have been adjusted. Before it was 3 skills, later it became 2 to 3 skills, which is good. Thank God they decided to do this, because it was really, really, really annoying when they just restrict the 4th, the 5th, and the 3rd skill all at the same time, because those 3 skills, they're the most damage dealing skills of a character, and we scored absolutely nothing with the 1st and the 2nd skill. Like literally nothing. Okay? Absolutely. And certain skill restriction groups that increase gameplay fatigue have been removed. That is correct. It's just really annoying. It's just really annoying when they restrict the most important skills, and they just leave you with the least damaging skills, and you go from being like rank 1, rank 2 till rank 20. Like, it's dumb, it's stupid. Okay, now the current skill restriction, but after the patch notes gonna drop, guys, is going to be as follows. Before the patch notes drop tonight, the skill restriction is 1, 4, and 5, and after the patch notes, the skill restriction will be 1, 2, and 4, which means that the third skill and the fifth skill are going to be available. Okay, and the sixth skill as well with the tier 4. So yeah, this is really huge. This is absolutely huge. This is insane and fantastic. I absolutely love that. Records and rankings and challenges will remain. Only the skill restriction will be changed, which is good. And then we have some game error fixes with Agent Venom targeting skill that wasn't working before when using the second skill. Now it's working. So yeah, that's the patch notes, guys. Knull, I'm very excited to see how well Knull is going to be like. If he's going to be meta for PvE, is he going to be meta for PvP or PvE as well? I'm really curious to see, because he has like a lot of PvP effects in here, but that's the same thing that happened to Knull back when he got introduced. He had a lot of PvP effects, but he was not doing anything for PvP at all. It was just PvE all the way in. So I hope this time around they don't mess it up, and Knull is actually a meta character, because when he first got introduced, he was meta for like 1 month, and then barely 1 month, and he got completely sidelined the whole time, which is ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, really hope Knull's going to change the meta a little bit more and bring some challenge to Sentry, because Sentry is really annoying to kill in timeline battle, and I really love Sentry. Sentry is my favorite character in the Marvel universe, but holy crap, dude, there's a lot of people that are just running Sentry, and it gets really annoying to deal with it the whole time. So yeah, I really hope Knull becomes a meta and change the meta a little bit with his new uniform and all these new effects and all these PvP effects, the immortality and all that kind of stuff. Decreases the basic damage received by 40%, debuff removal, all the shebang. I really hope that Knull becomes a meta character for PvP at the same time as well as in PvE. So yeah. As well, I'm really excited for Carnage. I cannot wait to get my hands on this guy. I'm almost going to tier 4 him, so we'll have to wait and see how well he performs. And yeah, man, dude, the symbiotes are about to clap cheeks. Okay, they're about to clap cheeks for good. So yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. Anyways, that's the video for today, guys. The patch notes are going to drop tonight, I believe, around 4 a.m. my time zone, which is Spain. 4 a.m. Greenwich time zone. 4 a.m. Greenwich time zone. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how these characters perform, and I will be live at that time when the patch notes drop live. Okay, and we'll be testing out these characters one by one. All right, so stay tuned for that, guys. So yeah, we're just gonna wrap it up right here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share, so help the channel grow. Hit the notification ring bell so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos I'll be posting on this channel. Join my Discord server, the link is in the description box below, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care. Peace.